When is enough enough? When they decide, not you. Well, you know, she's putting it out there for public consumption. She wants us to buy the new record. But we're not allowed to have an opinion about, hey, we don't want to see grandma up there like a rotisserie chicken on that wheel there showing us her crotch. Like, I think we're well within our rights, you know, that are diehards. Do they think, though, that the people outside of that diehard bubble aren't looking and pointing and making fun of Madonna, looking at her as a joke? I think they are. And people like me, I don't want her being ridiculed like that. I personally think that Madonna should be, you would think, too smart for that.
Don't yell at me. But the reaction to me is insane. Don't hate me.
Oh, she's breaking a barrier? What barrier is she breaking? I don't think she's breaking any barriers. I think she's in danger of breaking a hip. That's what I think. Okay, so take a sip, okay? Because Madonna's fans came for me in my comments, and I want to read you some of the comments. I'll play a little bit of what I said about her in my last video. Just, here we go. Madonna has been parading in the streets half naked since around the time I've been 10 years old. And I'm now 52. I think it's time to hang it up, Madonna. I really do. There's no denying that you were not, at one time, a cultural icon, very, very famous singer, actress extraordinaire, dancer. I mean, Madonna pretty much proved to us that she could do it all. And she does have a measure of talent. I've never been to her Instagram page. I want to go and check out what Madonna's doing these days. So I go over to the Instagram page. So she's up to the same old shtick, different decade. This woman is an attention seeker to the extreme. She's just an attention monger. That's all she wants. It doesn't matter if she's showing us her boobies or if she's showing us her buns or her feminine nether region and it's all in our face. She's going to do everything she can to make sure that you're looking in her direction, okay? Do we really need to see this? We've already established that the woman needs serious prayer in addition to several long-sleeved outfits, long-sleeve coats, pants, all of it. She just needs to cover it up. But here she is again, prancing around in a outfit that, you know, a 20-something or 30-something should be wearing on stage, like a Sabrina Carpenter or whatever. I even think Taylor Swift is getting too old to be wearing what she's wearing on stage, my opinion. Okay, so let's just start by reading some of these comments. And I'm gonna say everyone is entitled to their opinion. I'm not a Meghan Markle closing off my comment section because I can't take it when people disagree with me. That's not what's happening here. I just find a lot of them really amusing, and I disagree with a lot of the comments, and there were so many of them that I thought it would be fun just to read them. So, okay, here we go. So, okay, Alfred Palomo 372 said to me, Madonna doesn't need your approval or validation. She can do whatever she wants and makes her happy. She's a legend and the queen of pop. Okay, well, yeah, obviously this question is assuming that Madonna needs my approval and validation to go on. No, she doesn't. She absolutely doesn't. But, you know, like I said, she's putting herself out there for public consumption. People are going to have something to say about it. Melski 2023 said, Gen X here. So what if Madonna or JLo wants to be out there? Obviously, it's still working if you're taking the time out to throw your 2 cents into the ring of judgment. The ring of judgment! If you don't want to see it, don't look. I don't want to see it. I'm merely saying it's their life and they rank the privilege of living how they want, just as we do. Well, you know what, Melski 2023, I agree. Fair enough, fair enough. Fellow Gen Xer, you rock. I'm glad you're here. I commented that, you know, she's putting herself out there for almost 50 years for public consumption. People are going to have opinions of it, and I'm one of them. You know, one could argue that she has used religious imagery in her videos and music that people like myself that are Roman Catholic find very, very offensive. So if I were to speak out about that, I'm well within my rights, just like she was well within her rights to wear a crucifix around her neck and use it as a piece of decoration or adornment. So many of us in the Catholic faith, we see it as prayer beads, where we are giving homage to our Lord Jesus Christ and reflecting on his stories in the gospel. But okay, I'm going on here. But you know what? Still, too, like it's not like I'm saying that they don't have a right to be out there, because obviously, if you watch the video, I talk about, yeah, they do have talent. I do think J-Lo is a beautiful woman. Do I think she's the best singer, dancer, actor out there? No, but she does all fairly well. She can entertain, and I've enjoyed her movies in the past, just like how I said I have enjoyed Madonna's music myself. One of my favorite albums from her was Confessions of a Dance Floor that she released 20 years ago now. But it's like I was offering my opinion on a way that they could segue into evolving into a new persona that is a little bit more dignified, that is a little bit more graceful, that doesn't call for them flashing their butts and their boobs and their crotch to us at every turn. That's what I was saying. And yeah, I don't have to look at it, but if I know it's there and it's out there in the culture, I can comment on it, and that's what I'm doing. And I also said in my response to her, I was like, she's offended a lot of people for a lot of years, even back when I was too young to be offended or, to know better to be offended. Fact is, I grew up, but her tactics and her MO has remained the same. So I suggest this. You don't have to watch my video if you don't want to. And if you don't agree with me, fair enough, that's fine. But it's like, I could just as easily use her argument and her positioning. Like, well, if you don't like what I'm saying, don't watch my video. But again, you're going to have to expect pushback from people. And then I had someone say to me, are we going to ask Rod Stewart, who is over 80 years old, the same question? He was recently on stage at a concert, gasping for air and was administered oxygen on stage. And I said, if that's true, then he needs to pack it up for health reasons. I just think it's so funny that so many people, these self-professed feminists that get so upset when a woman talks about how, I think that Madonna's acting indecently at almost 70 years old and needs to pack it up. They think that I would never say the same thing to a man. And that's why I'm like, hello, like, if he really is gasping for air, then he obviously does need to pack it in for health reasons. And even moreover, if he was on stage and if he was slurring the words and not carrying a tune, I would probably say the same thing. I would say, Rod, well, I wasn't at the concert, so I don't know if he was doing that, but she doesn't say anything about that. But again, like, if the talent's fading, you should just stop. Go out on top, go out with dignity and keeping your legend intact. Don't just try to milk everything for all it's worth just because of the name if you can't live up to where you were at your peak. And age is gonna predict that. You're not going to be able to be at your peak. And if your performance is suffering, then what's wrong with saying, I'm just going to go off quietly into the sunset? But it's like, you can't even have that opinion. People are going to like freak out. And then someone says, Perry Sky Phoenix, I think Madonna is aware of what she's doing and why. She's in the entertainment business. She's an artist. Well, she is. That she is. And yes, it does matter how many followers she has on social media. It's her career. Maybe Madonna wants to break the rules again because we live in a very ageist society. That needs to change. If you don't like it, but you're talking about it. Well, people talk about a lot of stuff they don't like a lot. This other person says, Madonna really messed up her face, but it's looking a little better now than it did a year or two ago. That filler has gone down a bit. Yeah, I do agree with that. And I made a comment on that on the very first Madonna video I did, where it seems like she corrected some scary facial reconstructive work that she had that was looking a little odd, but now she's kind of looking back to kind of like her old self, but just a little bit fresher. So it's fine with me. I don't care. Go do your face, do you, Madonna, if that's what you want to do. This other person, Fritz whatever, says, nobody tells Madonna what to do. Just because one is aging does not mean everyone has the right limit her actions. I think they meant to say right to limit her actions and preferences. She does not obligate people to look at her, but does what she wants. Better to leave her alone. Same goes for J-Lo. When is enough enough? When they decide, not you. Well, she's putting it out there for public consumption. She wants us to buy the new record. We're not allowed to have an opinion about, hey, we don't want to see grandma up there like a rotisserie chicken on that wheel there showing us her crotch. Like, I think we're well within our rights, Have you heard live and let live? Someone said Madonna's a real life example of death becomes her. Sadly, she isn't alone. And then, a lot of her fans are like, she can do what she wants. Why should she stop? It's her world. Get over it, all this stuff. And ageism. People are mean and judgmental. They're putting older women into very small boxes and calling them stupid and ridiculous if they don't follow the narrative how older people should behave. Okay, so many people mention ageism. I just look at a 70-year-old woman who looks like she can't dance and move the way she could even 10 years ago. And I'm thinking, holy, like hip replacement, like what is happening? Is she gonna fall? Is she gonna break a bone? What's going on? Sometimes it is a safety issue. And for all these people who are saying, oh, she can do whatever she wants. This is ageism. Yeah, people can do whatever they want. But sometimes they should do what they ought to do, what is the decent, less tacky thing to do. And do these people who are her sycophant fans think for 1 minute that the passing casual fan or the passing observer or even the person that's not a fan would look at her and think, oh, that's cool? No, like we think of our parents, our aging grandparents. We wouldn't want them to be ridiculed. We don't want them to be made fun of. And that's exactly what's happening. Do people actually think beyond her little highly niched fan bubble? Because there are people that really love Madonna, diehards. Do they think, though, that the people outside of that diehard bubble aren't looking and pointing and making fun of Madonna, looking at her as a joke? I think they are. And people like me, I don't want her being ridiculed like that. I personally think that Madonna should be, you would think, too smart for that. Why would she want to put herself out there like that for that ridicule? Oh, she's breaking a barrier. What barrier is she breaking? I don't think she's breaking any barriers. I think she's in danger of breaking a hip. That's what I think. But anywho, what else do we got here before we wrap it up? This one from Flexible Flyer. Some people have no trouble making fools of themselves just to be in the spotlight. Madonna and all these aging entertainment types have had many years in the publicity sun. They've made lots of money. Now there's just something nasty about seeing someone trying to recapture what best remains in the past. Make room for new talent and give them a chance. Bravo, Flexible Flyer 50. Bravo. Couldn't agree more. And there's another one from KK Corleone. Hope I said that right. For most women, menopause kicks your ass. If you've managed to retain your femininity and sexiness into your early 50s, it fades real fast from that point forward. Your skin begins to get growths from a lifetime of sun and hair thins all over. Wrinkles, nice picture we're painting here. Wrinkles get deeper while hair loses its luster and bounce. It's easy to see Madonna can't move as she used to. It's tragic to see her destroying her own image. She should have let the documented history live on for all to marvel at. We're remembering her downfall instead. Sad. You know what? I mean, not talking about all the stuff that the comment started off with about the appearance, all that. We're not going to talk about that so much, but toward the end of the comment, yeah, it is tragic to see Madonna destroying her own image. It is tragic that she's not letting her legacy and documented history up to this point be enough to stand and allow us to kind of say, good for you for all you've achieved. That's where we are now. We're all worried that she's going to fall down and have to call an ambulance to get her off the stage or something. It's just, I don't know, you guys. I don't know. Again, everyone is entitled to their opinion. I didn't delete any of these comments. I think it's great. People want to talk about this in the comments. And if someone's watching one of my videos and getting all fired up, I can get snarky. I can get a little bit funny on this kind of stuff. People are entitled to their opinion. Madonna has to sit down a lot now before she falls down. Yeah. I never was a fan of either, but both are now just the very embodiment of cringe. Everything they do is so curated, so manipulative that there is simply no authenticity. Very bizarre way to go through life and very seriously broken people. Yeah, I would have to agree. I talked about it in my last Madonna video about how I just think it's so sad how over the years, she experienced a lot of trauma growing up without a mother. Her mother died when she was very, very young, like 5 or 6 years old or something. So there's been a lot of trauma in Madonna's life. And, she even went on that Jay Shetty podcast talking about this fruitless search in her early years, her 20s and her 30s, and even into her 40s, constantly looking for outside validation, outside validation, outside validation. And that's what prompted me to make that video in the first place, because I saw excerpts from that podcast and I was like, oh, I'll go listen to it. And I was like, wow, good on you, Madonna. It seems like you're coming into your own. You're just looking at this in a very kind of seasoned, mature way, that it's not about chasing outside validation. It's about coming to terms with who you are and being comfortable with that and having that be okay. And then I was like, oh, well, I've never been on her Instagram. What's going on there? Went to the Instagram, and that's what led me down that whole rabbit hole, because it doesn't really sound or look like she's not continuously seeking that outside validation. It was just two really weird messages that she seemed to be putting out there. And it just seems to me, especially by looking at that Instagram and then, seeing that performance that she did in Times Square a couple weeks back, it's just all very, very, very sad. But like I said, you don't have to agree with me. Okay, we're all adults here. Keep it respectful in the comments. The only type of comments that I delete are ones where people start name calling or get particularly nasty. Like I said, I was a Madonna fan growing up. I purchased a lot of her CDs and a lot of her records back when I was too young and dumb to even really know enough to be offended, okay? It's just the whole point of this diatribe is that I feel like I've matured. I feel like I've moved on and I've tried to class it up. We've all made our mistakes in our teenage years, our 20s, our 30s, where we probably didn't treat ourselves or others the way that we should have, or didn't hold ourselves to high enough standards. We've made mistakes. We've all been dumb and done dumb things. I'm just saying that I really feel like I've tried to move on and I've tried to become better. And I just look at her at approaching 70 years old and I'm like, why are we doing this? But yeah, anyway, that's all I got to say about all of this. There's been a lot to talk about today, but again, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Like the video, share the video, hype the video if you have a hype button, and subscribe. Please, please, please subscribe. I recently hit 30K. 30K, you guys. I can't tell you how awesome that is, how blessed I feel to have built this community that supports me to get to 30K. Check out my podcast on Spotify and Apple. I have that there if you'd like to listen to a podcast format, if you can't watch. But yeah, just help me get to 40K now. That's another great goal that I've now set for myself. And also, I've mentioned now in other videos, I'm really, really trying to grow the channel just because it's kind of scary out in YouTube land nowadays. Channels are getting demonetized, they're getting deplatformed, they're getting strikes, all these different things. And if I can build a bigger audience, I can look into some alternate ways that I can support the channel and, allow myself to continue to bring videos to you guys, because that's what I love doing. So thank you so much for watching. If you haven't caught on to my Priscilla Presley Child Bride playlist, I will link that at the end of the video. Priscilla Presley, we're now on chapter coming up 15 from Child Bride about Elvis and Priscilla. And Priscilla, like I always say, Priscilla Presley, the enigma wrapped in a riddle. She's in her 80s and she is a woman with a story. So if you haven't gotten caught up on that playlist now, please do. Thank you for spending time with me, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Okay, so don't yell at me. But definitely better than anything she's produced for decades, as everyone keeps saying. But I feel like everybody is really grading her on a curve. I've seen people saying this is one of her best albums ever. Certifiably insane. The lyrics across the board are not good. Dance in the Rain, no need to explain. These are lyrics for somebody who has just written their first song. The reaction to me is insane. Don't hate me.